Why does complex sentence versus compound sentence matter? This question asks about teaching the distinction between complex and compound sentences. I have managed to read really quite widely in linguistics for more than 50 years without ever, as far as I can recall, encountering this distinction. To me it appears completely pointless and nitpicking. Would somebody please enlighten me why it might be of any interest or value to make the distinction, never mind teach it?
I know a grammarian who maintains that it is senseless to analyze English as it is commonly spoken purely from a syntactic standpoint, while totally supporting syntactical analysis as an indispensable tool. Note, however, the confusion that can result from a semantosyntactic approach. Point 3. I come bearing soup, for Kate is sick. Point 4. I come bearing soup, because Kate is sick. In my book, sentence. 3 is compound, conjunctive adverbs, and here fanboys, are both ways of linking independent clauses, and, therefore, we call them compound sentences. Your last sentence uses the subordinating conjunction because. With the use of a because, the second clause becomes a dependent one. It can stand alone, because Kate is sick is an incomplete thought. That's why this is a complex sentence. Sentences 3 and 4 look suspiciously similar to me, both syntactically and semantically. The syntax/semantics overlap/divide can be illustrated in a few sentences. John is tall and the car needs diesel. Grammatical, compound, unacceptable in all but the most contrived contexts as joining two totally unrelated ideas. John is tall and Sally is even taller. Grammatical, compound, acceptable in that the coordinator connects two related ideas. Note, however, that Sally is even taller, though an acceptable sentence, cannot be said to be semantically independent as it needs prior context to make sense. I come bearing soup, for Kate is sick. I come bearing soup, because Kate is sick. Grammatical if archaic, traditionally classified differently. Kate is sick is certainly a main clause, in each case, the connecting word, for or because, while normally deducible and omissible, I come bearing soup, Kate is sick, is, strictly, required to show the relationship, reason, between the first and second clauses. This embodies the idea of dependence for/because Kate is sick, if not being the usual usage.
Readers will often perceive texts that consist of mostly simple or compound sentences as uninteresting or written by immature writers. This is even more the case when the compound sentences consist of several independent clauses strung together with ands, so's, and buts, so-called rambling sentences. As Owl at Purdue states, adding sentence variety to prose can give it life and rhythm. Too many sentences with the same structure and length can grow monotonous for readers. Varying sentence style and structure can also reduce repetition and add emphasis. Young writers need to be taught to recognize compound sentences and practice ways of converting them to complex or compound complex sentences when appropriate. Understanding the composition of the four correct sentence types is helpful in identifying and avoiding problematic sentences such as run-ons, comma splices, and fragments. I always understood it to be intended to help us focus on the difference between a dependent and independent clause. This distinction helps us recognize and form a complete, stand-alone expression and to differentiate it from a phrase or fragment that cannot, at least in the context of the sentence in question. Understanding what is needed to make a complete, independent clause would then allow us to form clear sentences. Once we understand that, we can build more complex ones. And after that, we may learn how to slice through the rules with abandon for literary effect, but using a saber that we have honed through knowledge, not forged by accident.
If you want to support the channel, please consider liking and subscribing.